Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6, SU students got their first look at the campus master plan.
An event was held in the Quad to raise awareness for mental illness.
Find out how President Obama celebrated Earth Day.
And one famous boxer is getting some serious cash from selling his shorts. Citrus TV News starts right now. Hello and welcome to Citrus TV News Live at 6 for Wednesday, April 22nd. I'm Alex Bauman.
And I'm Will Gerhard. The campus master plan has been released, and that is our top story tonight.
Syracuse University students, faculty, and other members of campus got their first peek at the campus master plan today. The goal of the plan is to figure out specific changes that can be made to improve the physical aspects of SU's campus. SU is partnering with Sasaki Associates, who came to campus today to discuss some of the initial ideas in the plan. Students
and staff got the chance to give their perspective on the initial stages of the plan at a meeting today in Life Sciences. Another meeting is scheduled for tomorrow from 11 to 1 in the Life Sciences atrium. Citrus TV spoke to an employee of Sasaki Associates about the master plan.
Part of an extensive process of engagement with the campus community that comes with a framework plan. We were engaged by Syracuse University to work in parallel with the strategic academic plan and develop a series of frameworks that would support the development and growth of the campus over the decades to come.
Now let's take a first look at your weather with Monica Hammer.
Skies have been cloudy all day today with a 90% chance of rain, but we haven't really seen that so far. There's been some light rain, but we should expect a lot more over the course of the evening. We can see that on the quad cam it's pretty gloomy outside with temperatures in the high 40s. Winds are at around 11 miles per hour, so there's definitely been a cool down from last week. I'll have the full weather forecast later in the show, so stick around to find out what we are expecting this weekend.
After declining to provide faculty salary data to the American Association of University Professors last year, Chancellor Siverd and university professors have agreed to participate in the national survey. The national report breaks down the average salary of professors, associate professors, and instructors at schools across the country. The data reported that full-time professors at SU make more than $127,000 per year. Citrus TV anchors make nothing.
A Syracuse University student is filing a lawsuit against the school after a window pane fell on her head in 2014. A senior in the architecture school tells the Daily Orange she is dealing with physical injuries from the accident more than a year ago. The suit also names a construction company and window repair company hired by SU to repair windows in Lyman Hall.
People at SU are using an item familiar to students everywhere to raise awareness about mental illness.
Citrus TV News reporter Cheyenne Devon takes us to the quad to explore the visual display.
1,100 backpacks scattered across the quad. Each backpack tells a story of an issue that is not often talked about.
Every year, the statistics say about 1,100 college students die by suicide. So our number one thing is to kind of show that, present that information, present those numbers in a way bigger than just written on a piece of paper. About a third of these backpacks have stories attached to them that have been submitted by people who lost loved ones to suicide.
But why backpacks?
Backpacks kind of symbolize college students' education, that point in our lives. And it's also something that you can just take one and you have a story. It symbolizes just that one person, their experience. But all together we can do something like this where it's visual and we spread it across the quad to symbolize this whole community of people who are struggling.
Although most students have been able to passively observe the display on the quad, for one visitor it hit very close to home.
I thought of suicide, and I still do. And so, I'm really, getting emotional over it.
But Kylie has some words of advice for those who may be struggling.
Even though it may seem like you're alone, just try to reach out and do anything you can just to hold on.
Active Minds at SU is a student-run mental health advocacy group. They strive to combat the stigma associated with mental illness and promote awareness of mental health issues and suicide prevention among the student body. For Citrus TV News, Cheyenne Devon.
The Active Minds chapter at SU meets every other Monday and strives to create a community of supporters and advocates.
A second member of Obama's cabinet visited Syracuse University yesterday. Maria Contreras-Sweet is the head of the U.S. Small Business Administration and came to SU to announce another grant for the school's Institute for Veterans and Military Families. The IVMF and Small Business Administration have worked together to train 25,000 service members transitioning to jobs at home.
Coming up after the break, we'll have all the latest info you need to know about Mayfest and Block Party.
And French police arrest a man they believe was planning multiple attacks. All that and more after the break.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
About 10,000 people will fill the Carrier Dome on Friday to watch 50 Cent and other performers at Block Party. But now the opportunity to buy a ticket is gone. University Union announced Tuesday that Block Party tickets officially sold out, and because of such popular demand, they even added an expanded floor section. Block Party will start at 6:30 p.m. on Friday, following the day-long celebration of Mayfest in Walnut Park.
Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner is warning students there won't be any second chances during this year's Mayfest. SA President Boris Gresley sent a letter to students today from Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner. In the letter, Miner tells students Syracuse police will, quote, strictly enforce the city's ordinances, including those prohibiting open containers, excessive noise, littering, and all other city regulations, end quote. Electropop duo The Knox are headlining Mayfest, and the concert takes place in Walnut Park from 1 to 6 p.m. on Friday.
Well, now let's take a look at your full weather forecast with anchor Monica Hammer.
It is currently 48 degrees outside with a low of 33. Winds are at around 11 miles per hour under cloudy skies, and rain is expected throughout the course of the evening. Looking at temperatures across the Northeast, the coast is seeing some temperatures here in the high 50s and 60s, but further inland in this blue zone, temperatures have dropped down to the 40s and high 30s. Now, if we look at the current surface map, we see some light rain and a little bit of a cold front moving north. There is some concern of ice and snow in these pink areas that we see to the northwest, and there's a possibility of some snow flurries in that area. Looking closer at the Doppler radar for Syracuse to see what kind of precipitation is expected in the area, it doesn't look like any snow is headed our way, and most of that rain is situated to the east of Syracuse and Albany, and areas south of Syracuse like Binghamton are looking at some light rain. Tonight, skies will remain cloudy with a chance of precipitation, and temperatures will drop down to 33 degrees. Winds are expected to stay at around 11 miles per hour, so it will definitely be cooling down this evening. And then tomorrow, temperatures will come back up to 45 degrees, but there is a low of 32. Wind speeds will increase to around 18 miles per hour, and there's a likelihood of rain. There's around a 40% chance of rain, but most of the day it will just remain cloudy. And then looking at that precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, chances of rain are pretty high, but less than half an inch is expected. There is a chance of the rain returning into snow because of the temperature drops, and we do see some snow in the areas to the north, but snow is not expected in Syracuse.
Protesters were out again in full force today in Baltimore. People are outraged at the death of 25-year-old Freddie Gray, who died of a spinal injury 1 week after he was taken into police custody. Today, the Baltimore Police Union defended the 6 officers who were suspended after the incident. Gray had no previous health issues. Still no word on how the injury occurred. The director of the Drug Enforcement Agency is going to step down from their position. Michelle Leonhardt has been surrounded by scandal after a report in March said DEA agents participated in sex parties. The agents were on assignment in Colombia and had local police officers stand guard during their parties. The report also found DEA agents accepted money, gifts, and weapons from Colombian cartel members. Leonhardt is expected to leave her post in mid-May.
Conduct and
The Senate will pass a bill to increase penalties on human trafficking. This will confirm the vote for Attorney General nominee Loretta Lynch. Lynch is President Obama's first pick and has waited more than 50 days for the vote on her nomination. The vote for Lynch's nomination was put off until the human trafficking was dealt with, and a vote on her nomination could come as soon as tomorrow. And President Obama spent Earth Day in Florida, where he gave a speech on climate change. White House spokesperson Josh Earnest said the president is looking to reignite his climate change and clean energy campaign in spite of the Republican-controlled Congress, who oppose much of his plan. In his speech, Obama explained some of the executive actions he has recently taken to cut down on carbon emissions and promote wind and solar energy. French officials are saying they prevented an imminent terror attack on a church. Police arrested a 24-year-old man in Paris on Sunday after finding him suffering from a gun wound. The man, an Algerian national, called an ambulance after accidentally shooting himself. Security officials say he was preparing attacks against multiple churches. According to police, the man was in contact with individuals in Syria and guns as well as bulletproof vests in his apartment. And well, less than 24 hours after Saudi Arabia announced the end of Operation Decisive Storm, it launched a new series of airstrikes in southern Yemen. According to security sources in Taiz, the strikes come after rebel forces attacked a Yemeni government military brigade. Saudi Arabia first began launching airstrikes on March 26 in an effort to wipe out the Iranian allied rebel group, which has since taken over the Yemeni government. At this time, it is unclear if there is any more strikes to come.
The Vatican announced today that Pope Francis will be stopping in Cuba before his U.S. trip later on this year. The pontiff will visit Cuba in September before starting his U.S. tour. In the U.S., Francis will be making stops in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. The Pope has been instrumental in warming relations between the U.S. and Cuba by encouraging and even hosting negotiation meetings between the two countries.
When CitrusTV comes back, Comcast and Time Warner Cable discuss a merger.
And Manny Pacquiao is going to make a lot of money for his fight against Floyd Mayweather, but you may be surprised to find out why. Stick around, we'll be right back.
World? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
And now let's get a peek of the next 5 days with Monica Hammer.
Now, if we look at the 5-day forecast, we are seeing some rain over the course of the week, but some sun as well. Tomorrow, there is a 40% chance of rain, and temperatures will remain in the 40s. Now, everyone is wondering about that weather for Friday because the big Mayfest event is happening at Syracuse University. And as of right now, no rain is expected, but there will be some heavy winds at around 20 miles per hour. This weekend, though, the sun will be coming out again with a slight temperature increase to the 50s. That rain is going to be returning next week, though, with a 60% chance of precipitation on Monday. The only way Syracuse might be seeing snow over the next couple of days is if precipitation occurs overnight, with those temperatures dropping to the low 30s Thursday and Friday night.
All right, Monica, the big question, can we wear shorts and tank tops on Mayfest?
I would really advise against it. It's going to be a little chilly out there with wind, so I would stick with some long pants. But maybe try and be adventurous with a tank top. You never know.
But you know what? Students still will. Students will
I'm
still
sure.
Thank you.
Yes, Monica. If you have any Bluebell products in your freezer at home, you may want to get rid of them for the time being. The Texas-based creamery is recalling all of its products on the market after 2 samplings of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream tested positive for listeria.
The company issued its first recall last month after 3 cases of listeria were caused from the product, leading to 3 deaths in Kansas. CEO Paul Cruz said they don't know where the bacteria was introduced on their manufacturing line. The recall extends to 23 states and international retail outlets. Health officials have confirmed that a 54-year-old woman has died after being poisoned with botulism at a church potluck in central Ohio. The disease results from consuming contaminated food, and the symptoms typically begin within 36 hours. Symptoms include paralysis, double vision, difficulty swallowing, and respiratory failure.
Russ Kennedy, an Ohio Department of Health spokesman, said there were 18 suspected cases. As many as 60 people reportedly ate at the potluck at Cross Point Free Will Baptist Church in Lancaster, which is about 30 miles southeast of Columbus, Ohio. The youngest patient is 9 years old, and the oldest patient is 87 years old. Dr. Andrew Murray of the Fairfield Medical Center stresses that botulism is not contagious and not a threat to their community at large. Cable giants Time Warner Cable and Comcast are expected to speak to the Department of Justice this week to discuss their upcoming merger plans. The proposed merger plan would include Comcast investing $42.5 billion in Time Warner stock, merging the 2 companies into one large entity. However, the Justice Department and Federal Communications Commission need to determine if this will lead to a monopoly. If this merger passes, the combined company would control about 40% of the broadband internet market.
Trek Bicycles are recalling 1 million bikes for safety issues. According to Trek, there have been 3 incidences, including one where the rider became paralyzed. The recalled bikes have a quick release lever on the front, and this lever can interfere with the brakes, causing the wheel to stop or separate from the bike. The company is offering to replace these levers for free.
Well, Floyd Mayweather may be called money, but it's Manny Pacquiao who will be getting quite the paycheck, and that's just for his shorts, which he'll put on in about a month in the fight. Pacquiao is reported to make more than $2 million for selling ad space on his boxing trunks. That is believed to be the highest total any boxer has made from such a venture. The record-setting fight is expected to gross $400 million, so both fighters will take home tens of millions. Pacquiao takes on Mayweather May 2nd at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas.
I don't know what you heard about me, but you could get some sports out of me. It's Islanders and Nets you can see. It's the mother flippin' SPORT. Got 21 questions about what's going on in sports? Well, I'm gonna give you the answers or die trying. It's the playoffs. We're gonna party like it's the playoffs in the NBA and NHL. A little bit of basketball, a little bit of tennis. Damn, baby, all you need is a little bit of sports. So stick around.
In the housing projects of Cleveland, I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
I think that CitrusTV is important because especially this year, Syracuse has been in the news so often, and we've often been there first to be able to cover that and really deliver it to the students.
CitrusTV News is for our campus and our students.
The great thing about Citrus is we allow students to tell their stories, and we get to listen to their concerns.
Citrus is important because we cover campus news in a way that no one else really does.
CitrusTV is the voice of Syracuse University, and it's something we're very proud of and a responsibility that we take very seriously.
Monday night, it took the Islanders all of 15 seconds to put away the Washington Capitals in overtime and take a 2-1 series lead. Last night, the teams would again battle into OT, but it was the Capitals popping that bottle of bub. Capitals looking to even the series up 2-2 on the road at Nassau Coliseum. That's a way to get it started. Alexander Ovechkin nets one to put the Caps on top 1-0. But that lead wouldn't even last the entire period. Towards the end of the first, it's Casey Cizikas finding the back of the net, tying things up 1-1. That's all the scoring regulation would see, but not all the hits. Tom Wilson levels Lubomir Visnovsky. But then heading into overtime, it only takes one goal, and there it is right there from long distance. Nicholas Backstrom hits the game winner in overtime. Capitals take it 2-1 and tie up the series at 2 games apiece. Well, that wasn't the only game going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night. Tampa Bay lost to Detroit. The Capitals, like we said, took down the Islanders. Vancouver dropped one to the Calgary Flames. But most excitingly, the Predators and the Blackhawks went to 3 overtimes, over 100 shots taken in that game. And the Blackhawks, Brent Seabrook, scored on the 50th shot for Chicago in the 3rd overtime to win that one. Of course, what does it mean in the bigger picture of things right now? Well, 1 seed's taking care of things up top. The Ducks and the Canadiens up 3-0 in their respective series. And of course, what New York fans care about, the Rangers up 2-1 on the Penguins, and the Islanders tied right now 2-2 with the Capitals. If both take care of business in their series, there could be an all-New York matchup coming soon. And that other sport, the National Basketball Association, NBA. 3 playoff games last night. Cavaliers taking care of business against the lower-seeded Celtics, though. The Celtics, of course, covered the spread, which is pretty much what you can hope for against LeBron this time of year. The Wizards took care of the Raptors, the only lower seed that would win on the night. And the Houston Rockets took care of business against in-state rival, the Dallas Mavericks. But more importantly, the rest of the season, so far, every team right now looking for a sweep. No team, no series is close to tied. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, and 1-0. The 1 seeds taking care of business as they have pretty much every single time in the NBA. But one team is going to attempt to change that tonight. The 8-seeded Brooklyn Nets are looking to do what only 4 teams have done since the NBA went to an 8-team format in 1984, beat the 1 seed in the first round. They're already off to a bad start, down 1-0 to the top-seeded Atlanta Hawks, but will look to tie the series tonight. One bright spot is the possible return of Mirza Teletovic, who has been out for 3 months with blood clots in his lungs. Head coach Lionel Holland said that Mirza is probable to be on the roster, so he might play just a little bit. Well, many men wish death upon the Syracuse basketball program, but to them, Jim Boeheim says, go and get your refund, boys. I ain't dead. Despite the array of sanctions handed down to the Syracuse program recently, next year's recruiting class is being hailed by Boeheim as the best he's ever had at Syracuse. Today, ESPN ranked the Syracuse class as the 7th best in the country, and Malachi Richardson is still the top of that class as the 23rd best player overall. Despite not landing Thomas Bryant, SU remains solid on its recruits, which include Richardson, Tyler Lydon, Frank Howard, and Mustafa Diogni. It's been a rougher year than normal for Syracuse women's lacrosse and star player Kayla Trainer, but things are finally coming together for her and the Orange. Syracuse picked up 2 wins over ranked opponents last week, back-to-back tallies over Louisville and Albany. Trainer managed 7 points in both games, earning Player of the Week honors from Inside Lacrosse. Go ahead, girl, don't you stop. Syracuse might want to invest, though, in more clubs and candy shops. The city has been named the worst college town in the ACC. The poll was put together by Athlon Sports, a group made up of writers and broadcasters who cover the league. One member of the panel referred to Syracuse as, quote, a poor man's Rochester. Syracuse, of course, infamously took home the title of #1 party school last year, but still dropped to the bottom of the college town rankings beneath such happening places as Winston-Salem, Chestnut Hill, and Pittsburgh. Charlottesville, home of UVA, took home first place. So sip Bacardi like it's your birthday, Charlottesville. You've earned it.
Well, thanks a lot, Tyler. Coming up after the break, we'll take one last look at your wake-up weather. Stay with us.
There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
It was a little colder today. Tomorrow there's a chance of rain, and apart from that, it will remain cloudy all day. It will be around 45 degrees with a low of 32. Wind speeds will increase, which is what is really contributing to the cool down. The sun will be coming back this weekend, but tomorrow make sure to dress warm, grab an umbrella for the rain. We are expecting a little bit of a temperature drop with them possibly hitting the freezing point, but it will finally start to warm up again over the weekend and into next week.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. This is Will and I's final show at Citrus TV News. So for the last time, thank you for watching. I'm Allie Bauman.
Thank you, Syracuse. Thank you, Citrus TV. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for the experience that we've had. We've had a blast doing this show, and we've had a great team. We've had a great producer. Josh Bazan has been an unbelievable producer the whole season. We have a great team, and we're so thankful. So for one last time, I'm Will Gerhard. Have a great night, Syracuse.